Now on Nightside, March Madness wrapped up tonight as a new champion is crowned.
And the active weather has moved out. We are left with quiet conditions for the remainder of tonight. We'll talk more about what to expect tomorrow coming up.
Plus, a team of plastic surgeons, anesthesiologists, and nurses from the U.S. and Canada have come together to make Ukrainian soldiers and civilians whole once again. You're watching 4 News Now Nightside. And we're taking a look at the Spokane Arena, Spokane Memorial Arena. We are just about 350 days away from hosting the men's NCAA tournament for the 6th time. And while we have a lot to look forward to over the next year, this year's March Madness wrapped up tonight. A new champion was crowned.
And for the 5th time in program history, it's the Yukon Huskies.
Yep.
Just as predicted, on top of the college basketball world as they beat San Diego State. Alex Crescenti joins us, and you saw this team in person playing the Zags, and this really isn't a surprise to you.
Yeah, after seeing what UConn did to Gonzaga just a little more than a week ago down in Vegas, I think there was little doubt as to who the favorite was going into Final Four weekend. Well, they picked up right where they left off on Saturday night in the first half. Jordan Hawkins hits the 3, and UConn up by double digits already. A couple minutes later, it'll be Tristan Newton from way downtown, and the Huskies are starting to run away with this one. They go into the break up 12, but the Aztecs not giving up. With less than 8 to play, they cut the deficit down to 6. And do we have a ball game on our hands? Well, no, because UConn proven to be just too much on the night, and the whole tournament long for that meeting. Jordan Hawkins with the layup under the basket. That's just going to about do it, as they actually Hawkins and his cousin Angel Reese both won national titles back-to-back days. LSU winning the women's title yesterday, so a big weekend for their family. And for the first time since 2014, it's UConn that's king of the dance. They win every game in the tournament by at least double digits.
Yeah, so it feels great to come through on promises made by me to all this, the great people of Connecticut. And then with these guys, this was our vision, this was our dream, this is what we talked about when we recruited these guys, that we could get together and do something big like this.
So just one of the more dominating teams that we've ever seen win the tournament. So Gonzaga fans, they can maybe know that they just ran into the hottest team in this tournament. And if it wasn't for UConn, maybe them cutting down the nets tonight.
Yes, that's what I'm counting on.
That's what everyone's going to say.
I had them going all the way. Yeah. But you know what? They were awesome. That was a great team, like you said, winning by double digits all the way through. So
yeah, definitely impressive.
Great team.
Thanks, Alex. Well, it's the first full week of spring, and we have a good amount of wet weather on the way.
Yes, including more snow, believe it or not. Emily Bloom's in for Chris tonight. So, Emily, how much more snow should we expect?
It's not going to be anything like what we experienced last night, so that is the silver lining here and the good news. Satellite and radar is showing all of the active weather that we had over the past 5 hours or so dissipating and moving out. So nothing else for us to be worried about as we move into the overnight hours tonight. Going to be quiet conditions, and as you're waking up tomorrow, no snow to be worried about. In terms of what we had today, though, not totally unusual. We typically see about 9/10 of an inch of snow. That's average for the month of April. Most recently, last year, we saw just over 2 inches, and the highest amount we've ever seen in April is 6.5 inches, and that was in 1964. Now, a lot of people this morning rather, woke up to about 5 to 10 inches of snow through Sprague and Spangle, so that's all of those reports still coming in, definitely going to make an impact on this. We are up to 42 degrees today, just about 10 degrees away from our seasonal average of 53 for this time of year. Record was 76 on this day. That would certainly feel nice right about now. Temperatures at the moment, most of us, Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, down into those lower 30s as we head into the overnight hours tonight. Temperature is going to fall a few more degrees. Overnight low of about 29 degrees. And that's where we're going to be as many of us are waking up on your Tuesday. Quiet conditions for the better part of tomorrow. There is the chance of having some of what we saw this afternoon redevelop tomorrow, but we'll talk more about that coming up in just a little bit, along with this big increase in temperatures in the days ahead.
Thank you, Emily. Jury selection started in Boise, Idaho today in the murder trial of Lori Vallow Daybell. She's accused of murdering two of her children, 7-year-old Joshua J.J. Vallow and 16-year-old Tylee Ryan. Both children were last seen alive in 2019. Authorities found their remains in 2020 on property belonging to her husband, Chad Daybell. Vallow is also accused of conspiracy to kill Daybell's ex-wife, Tammy. If convicted, she faces life in prison without the possibility of parole. All eyes are on New York as Donald Trump prepares to turn himself in tomorrow.
But it's not the only criminal case the former president is trying to fend off. Mr. Trump now faces 4 separate criminal probes. From the Stormy Daniels hush money case, where he faces 30-plus counts related to business fraud, to the Justice Department's Mar-a-Lago investigation looking into whether Trump illegally mishandled classified documents. Prosecutors have obtained new evidence in that case, including texts, emails, and photographs. Then there's the election interference grand jury in Georgia, investigating accusations that Trump set up fake electors and pressured the Secretary of State to, quote, find more votes for Trump. And finally, the federal jury's January 6th inquiry into whether Mr. Trump tried to interfere with the results of the 2020 election and whether he incited the January 6th attack.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
Donald Trump has repeatedly rejected the accusations in each of these investigations, characterizing them as facets of a witch hunt designed to take him down.
New on Nightside, country music star Shania Twain called for more equity and diversity in the country music industry during her acceptance speech for the Equal Play Award at the CMT Awards last night. She says when she wrote the phrase, "Man, I feel like a woman," she had no idea it would become an undercurrent of a decades-long career. Twain says she is thrilled the phrase has been adopted by communities around the world.
Well, hello, it is me again for the second time in a few minutes. But anyway, the Seattle Mariners came into this season with high expectations for easily the first time in 20 years. But already we're starting to see some signs of concerns as to whatever momentum they had gained in October. Well, it's simply gone. And after winning their season opener on Thursday, the M's followed it up with 4 straight losses, including a series opener to the Anaheim Angels on Monday night. Second-year pitcher George Kirby only lasted 4 1/3 innings, giving up 4 runs on 9 hits. Including a home run to superstar Shohei Ohtani in the 5th. And the bats for Seattle, well, they continued to struggle as well, only managing 5 hits on the night and bringing in 3 runs. Now, the good news for the M's is it'll be Luis Castillo taking the mound for Game 2 on Tuesday night.
You know, it's been a struggle here early on. It's not for lack of trying or lack of effort or preparation. But at the end of the day, you got to get it done, and we haven't done it here in the last 3 or 4 games. Offensively, it has been a challenge.
Coming up a bit later on in sports, we're going to have more from the Mariners, as well as check in on the Spokane Indians as they released their initial 2023 roster today. And there's one very familiar face coming back to town. Aaron, Kirsten, send it back over to you.
Alex, thank you. New on Nightside, when a 4-year-old child went missing in New Jersey, got lost in the woods, his dog, a black lab, never left his side. Body camera footage shows police finding the child who was calling for help in the forest. He was found safe and in good health after being missing for about an hour.
Good boy, good dog.
And coming up on Nightside, a new study suggests there could be a link between autism risk and levels of lithium in drinking water.
And how high heels can cause long-term damage to your body.
Track live radar on the 4 News Now weather app.
4 News Now is brought to you by Rosars.
Performance. It's what powers the 2023 family of Mazda CUVs. With standard I-Active all-wheel drive and an available turbo engine. Helping you take performance further.
With effortless power and the reliability of I-Active all-wheel drive, Mazda CUVs are built for the Pacific Northwest. Take a test drive today at Foothills Mazda or shop now at SpokaneMazda.com.
I feel safer when you're in the building.
Over 10,000 stars.
History making.
5 U.S. presidents.
The funny man.
Yes. And 20 years of explosive, iconic, heartfelt.
You sure about that?
Jimmy Kimmel Live, weeknights on ABC.
I'm Mark Peterson with the 4 News Now Extreme Team. Are you planning a home or a building remodel or repair project? Asbestos fibers may be present in roofing, insulation, flooring, ceiling textures, siding, and many other products. Whether you're a do-it-yourselfer or hiring a contractor, all parties are responsible for following the requirements. Prior to work, a survey must be done to see if asbestos is present. If it is, it must be left alone or properly removed and disposed of. Contact Spokane Clean Air for more information.
Watch 4 News Now coverage with KXLY Plus. Download the app now for live newscasts, video on demand, and up-to-date weather forecasts at your fingertips. And connect to your TV through Roku, Apple TV, or Amazon Fire. Get KXLY Plus now at KXLY.com.
With prices of natural gas and propane skyrocketing, your heating bill is getting out of control. But before you turn down the heat, give the experts at Bill's Heating and Air a call. They have the latest in dual fuel technology to keep your family comfortable and utility bills low. And there's never been a better time to upgrade because now every furnace purchase comes with a free AC or heat pump. So call Bill's Heating today to get your free heat pump while supplies last. 4 News Now is brought to you by Wendell Motors.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying up with Nightside. We are taking a look at our weather. Pretty quiet conditions for us this evening. Currently at 31 degrees in Coeur d'Alene. The winds coming out of the south at just 7 miles an hour, and 32 in Spokane with the winds coming out of the southwest at 7 miles an hour. Temperatures across the region, most of us in those low 30s at this point. A few areas still into the upper 30s. Wenatchee, Moses Lake, and Tri-Cities at about 38, 37. Right now. And zooming it in, bringing it a little bit closer to home, Newport falling back into those upper 20s and 29 for Reardon. And most of us are going to be into the upper 20s in the overnight hours tonight. That is the low here in Spokane. We could see some isolated flurries in the overnight hours, but it's not going to amount to any kind of accumulation like what we saw yesterday. Those winds nice and light for us. Across the region, most of us falling into those mid to upper 20s in the overnight hours. 25 in Deer Park, 29 in Spokane Valley, and ditto for those of you in the Moses Lake area. That's where we're going to be as we are waking up on your Tuesday. Moving throughout the day on Tuesday, overall pretty quiet conditions, mostly sunny skies throughout the day, climbing our temperatures back into the mid to upper 40s by tomorrow. That's at about 5 p.m. Still 10 degrees below the seasonal average of where we should be for this time of year. Typically, we're in the mid 50s, and then we'll be down to 42 degrees by 7 p.m. tomorrow evening, just about 30 minutes before the sun sets. As we take a look at our forecast radar, you can see the quiet conditions I'm talking about for tonight and through the first half of tomorrow. But as we get closer to about 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, that's when we begin to see some of this scattered activity moving back into the region. Very similar to what we saw today in terms of the snow, graupel, and some of that rain moving through. I don't think that it's going to be quite as widespread as what we had today, but definitely something to keep on your radar.
Thank you, Emily. Well, this is an interesting one. Some say fashion and beauty means pain, but when it comes to your shoes, high heels can cause long-term damage to your body. Dr. John Reach, an orthopedic surgeon, says the concentration of stress put on the front of the foot by high heels can cause crowding of the toes, bunions, and hammer toes, which can cause you problems with balance. But he says suddenly switching to flats isn't the answer either, because your body may have become accustomed to high heels.
If you've modified your gait, you've modified your walk, you've modified the way that your foot accommodates the shoe that you're used to, and then all of a sudden you change it and go to a lower ramp shoe, you're going to pay a price for that.
It's not necessary to throw your favorite pair of shoes out. Just consider wearing shorter heels or avoid the pointy-toed ones. Give your feet a break. New on Nightside, cancer is currently the second leading cause of death in the U.S.
But the Department of Health and Human Services is working on a plan to change that. The plan builds on President Biden's 2016 Cancer Moonshot Initiative. One part of the plan is preventing cancer with vaccines and determining what environmental toxins cause cancer. They hope to focus on prevention-driven clinical trials and engage a more diverse group in the research. The National Cancer Institute will take the lead on the plan and will work with the rest of the government and the private sector. New on Nightside, the impact of war is hard to look at. Thousands have been wounded in Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
But the Face the Future mission has brought together highly specialized plastic surgeons, anesthesiologists, and nurses from the U.S. and Canada to help soldiers and civilians. We do want to warn you, some viewers may find these images difficult to watch.
The difficulty that I'm having is that I don't know what anything looks like behind the skin here. I can make an opening that looks like there's an eye, but they're never going to look like normal eyelids.
Face the Future mission director Anthony Brissett says the blast injuries are often the most devastating.
Well, the level of complexity for these cases is significantly more elaborate and significantly more complex. It really does not get any more complex than this, even in a combat scenario.
The doctor says these surgeries offer hope, not just for the patients, but for their families as well. About 1 in 36 children in the U.S. is diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder every year. That's according to the Centers for Disease Control. But scientists still don't know what causes it. A new study suggests there could be a link between autism risk and levels of lithium in drinking water. The study, published in the journal JAMA Pediatrics, found a small association between the metal and autism in Denmark. The study found a moderately higher risk of autism spectrum disorder in children born to pregnant people exposed to tap water with higher levels of lithium. It's important to note that the lithium drinking water there is similar to that in the U.S., but experts say more research needs to be done.
New on Nightside, today is the 50th anniversary of the first public cell phone call. An engineer at Motorola made the call on April 3rd, 1973, from a sidewalk on 6th Avenue in Manhattan with a device the size of a brick. The call was received by one of the men he'd been competing with to develop the device. Martin, now 94 years old, says after that first call, manufacturing issues and government regulations slowed the progress, bringing the phone to the public. It would take a decade for a version of that phone to hit the market for a hefty $3,900. It weighed 2.5 pounds. It was about a foot tall.
Oh, how far we've come. A new campaign to save a favorite local hangout. That's next on Nightside.
Later tonight on Nightline, the North St. Louis community fighting to clean up nuclear waste dates back more than 80 years to World War II. Why their plight is a frighteningly familiar one across the nation.
Stream 4 News now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
Look at this baseball field and this one. How about this one? Which one is next for a 4 News Now Extreme Team Diamonds and Dreams makeover? How about yours? Go to KXLY.com and tell us why your field deserves a makeover. Diamonds and Dreams brought to you by your hometown Chevy dealers and Horizon Credit Union.
This is about more than just tractors. These are people's lives we're talking about here.
When I'm on my Kubota, everything goes away. It's my therapy.
Okay, guys, we need to get this part ordered for Rick's tractor immediately.
Heck, they don't treat people as customers. They treat people like family.
You didn't choose cat allergies, your hairline, or that thing when your knee just gives out for no reason. But you can choose your doctor who will care for all the things you didn't choose. Kaiser Permanente, for all that is you.
At Eastern Washington University, biologists are harnessing gut microbes to build stronger bees. Entrepreneurs are learning how to innovate and become the job creators of tomorrow. And dental hygiene students are providing specialized care to ensure pregnant women from disadvantaged backgrounds and their infants stay healthy. An interdisciplinary education that gets real about the real world? That's the New Think. Learn more at ewu.edu/newthink.
I like you right by my side.
Wow. Everybody's excited today, huh?
Live with Kelly and Ryan. Love being with you every weekday morning.
That's right. Yes, you.
Daytime's #1 talk show.
That was happiness right there.
Watch Daytime's #1 duo, weekdays at 9 on 4 News Now.
4 News Now is brought to you by Car Wash Plaza.
New on Nightside, members of the crew who will be on the first moon mission in 5 decades were announced today. These 4 astronauts will start training for the historic lunar flyby, which is set for takeoff in November of 2024. That's next year.
Yeah, that's next. Wow.
So NASA's vowed Artemis 3 will put the first woman and person of color on the lunar surface. It will also be the first time humans have touched down on the moon since the Apollo program ended in 1972.
Well, very cool. Our former Esther Bauer covering that entire thing from the front lines down in Orlando, wishing her well. I know that she's having a great time there. Back here at home, we've got pretty nice conditions tonight. It's going to be quiet in the overnight hours. There is the possibility for some isolated flurries across the region, but it's not going to amount to any kind of accumulation. Forecast radar showing those quiet conditions and kind of picking up where we left off. We may have some active weather returning to the region tomorrow afternoon. As we put this in motion, getting to about 2 p.m., that's when we can see this isolated activity returning specifically to the Idaho Panhandle at that time. I don't think that it's going to be as widespread as what we experienced today, but definitely something for us to keep in mind. High temperature in Spokane tomorrow afternoon will be 47 degrees with the possibility of that rain and snow in the afternoon hours. And those winds coming out of the west at 5 miles an hour. Partly sunny skies, so we could get into some sunshine tomorrow as well. Across the region, most of us in those a few of us in the upper 40s and the other half of us getting into the lower to mid 50s. 54 will be the high in Moses Lake, 52 in Wenatchee, 49 for those of you in the Bonners Ferry area. Now, over the next couple of days, we're going to be warming up very nicely. You can see getting closer to where we should be for this time of year on Friday. Typically, we're at about 55. We're going to get up to 63 and then potentially even 68 degrees by next Monday. So by this time next Monday, temperatures in those upper 60s. I know this is what we have all been waiting for. Finally, spring returning to the region.
Emily, thank you. Well, you might have noticed gas prices slowly creeping back up, with prices averaging $3.88 a gallon in Spokane County and $3.32 in Kootenai County. Those prices could soon skyrocket, with OPEC Plus producers, a group of 23 oil exporting countries, saying it is cutting its oil production.
Whenever we see crude oil rise, 9 times out of 10, we're going to see an increase in gas prices. That can be anywhere between 3 cents to 10 cents.
The reductions will start next month and will last until the end of the year. Saudi Arabia's energy ministry says its reduction in output is a precautionary measure to support the stability of the oil markets. This announcement is on top of previous production cuts announced in October. 4 News Now is very proud to let you know Mark Peterson is being honored for his work in the community.
Along with bringing you the best forecast every morning, he works tirelessly with the KXLY Extreme team, helping.
So many projects.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of kids in our area and at-risk youth, veterans, and just a lot of different organizations. So today he was actually surprised during this Zoom meeting, and he's told that he was and will be awarded with the West Central Community Center's Dream Builder Award. Mark has helped transform many buildings and spaces for organizations in our area. A few years ago, one of the Extreme Team projects included renovating the baseball field near the West Central Community Center.
I think about all of the efforts that you and your team, your Extreme Team, have done over the years. I mean, there are so many countless programs that you guys have invested in that have made big differences for our kids.
Mark will officially receive the award at the West Central Community Center's annual fundraising dinner on September 23rd. From all of us here at 4 News Now, congratulations and well-deserved, Mark. Many movie theaters are still struggling to get people back into their seats. That includes the iconic Garland Theater in North Spokane. It's locally owned and doesn't have the support of a national chain.
Well, now there's a campaign to save the local favorite. Because of the pandemic, the Garland Theater sales are down nearly half.
The second-run movies that this theater used to exist on for a long time, they're now already available on your tablet or your phone or anything like that at home. So that's the biggest hurdle that we have to do.
Well, he says the goal is to raise $300,000 to be financially stable and create more engaging and interactive events for theater goers. The public is asked to visit their GoFundMe page. You can also find more information on our website, KXLY.com.
Crime in downtown Spokane is certainly not a new issue, but in January, the Spokane Police Department reorganized its patrols, essentially doubling the number of officers walking the streets.
Our Derek Dice hit the streets with SPD to find out if their foot patrols are making a difference and see what they deal with every day. We witnessed a lot of drug use and people with severe mental health issues. Because officers still can't legally arrest people for doing drugs, enforcing the sit-and-lie ordinance is their best tool to keep the streets of downtown safe. Officer Austin Neal told us the #1 cause of crime downtown is fentanyl addiction. You'll hear what one downtown business thinks about the increased foot patrols. It's in Derek's special report tomorrow night on 4 News Now at 6. We are just days away from the Spokane Indians getting their season underway. Coming up in sports, Alex Crescenti tells us about the familiar faces returning to Spokane for the upcoming season.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app. 4 News Now. Expect more on air, online, and on the app.
You really are like family to me. I love you guys.
When I'm with you.
Band of dads.
If you two ever want to get married, I'd be okay with that.
You're pregnant.
You are going to be such a great mom.
You're going to be one hell of a dad. I learned from the very best.
A Million Little Things, the farewell season, Wednesday on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Hepatitis C? Don't just treat it. Crush it with Maverick.
Conquer it with Maverick.
Cure it with Maverick. Maverick cures all types of Hep C.
In only 8 weeks.
The virus multiplies daily and can damage the liver over time. Maverick stops Hep C and cures it. If you've had hepatitis B, it may flare up and cause serious liver problems during and after treatment. Tell your doctor if you've had Hep B, a liver or kidney transplant, other liver problems, HIV, other medical conditions, and all your medicines. Do not take Maverick with atazanavir or rifampin. Report right away yellow skin, stomach pain or swelling, confusion and bleeding or bruising.
Hep C? Crush it with Maverick.
Conquer it.
Cure it in only 8 weeks. See Hep C gone with Maverick.
Ask your doctor about Maverick. AbbVie could help you save.
This is it. The RV sales event of the year is happening now at Click It RV in Spokane. During the I Want to Getaway sales event, get a trip to Vegas on us. Choose from the best brands, Coachman, Winnebago, Thor, and more. Payments just $175 per month. 0 down, 0 payments until June, and $4,000 over JD Power for your trade-in. Don't let these deals get away. 6 days only. March 23rd through the 28th. The I Want to Getaway event at Click It RV in Spokane. Hurry in today.
Tomorrow on Good Morning Northwest, get a sneak peek at my special report on crime and drug-related problems in downtown Spokane.
It's an eye-opening look at what Spokane police deal with every day when it comes to keeping you safe.
Watch tomorrow, only on Good Morning Northwest.
After winning their season opener on Thursday, the Seattle Mariners were looking to get back in the win column against division foe Anaheim. And we're not even a week into the season, but already there are some concerns for this team. The pitching hasn't been that great, and the bats have struggled to say the least. But like I said, not even a week into the season, so let's not hit the panic button now. Well, in the bottom of the first, we still have a scoreless game as Eugenio Suarez has a man on second. He lines his ball down into the left field corner, just stays fair, and it's a 1-0 Seattle lead. Suarez, a big part of the offense in the 2022 season. Well, the second-year pitcher George Kirby got the nod tonight for the M's, and it was a rough outing capped off by this Shohei Ohtani, taking him deep to center field. That's his second home run on the season. Not much you can do there against one of the best in the game. Then in the 8th, a man on for the Angels, and Taylor Ward decides to go deep off of Matt Festa to dead center. Julio Rodriguez isn't able to make the play, and it's Anaheim cruising to, oddly enough, a 3-1 start, and it's Seattle that's dead last in the division.
Story, tonight was just, offensively, I thought, we had some chances to score a few more runs than we did. You got to take advantage when those guys get in third base. Less than 2 out, we weren't able to push an extra run across there.
And after a weekend that saw the Washington State Cougar baseball team have to have a game postponed due to snow, they then got a series win against number 12 UCLA, and today they were right back at it against BYU. Well, in the bottom of the first, Washington State already up, and Yona Adviluchua is going to help add to the lead. A double down the right field line brings home another run, and it's a 2-0 lead for the home team Cougars. In the next inning, it's a 4-1 Wazoo lead, and Jacob McKen gets this ball into the gap in right center. Kyle Russell's going to come all the way around from first. He slides into home plate. The throw not in time. It's a 5-1 game just like that. But the pitching at Washington State also stellar on the day. In the 6th inning, Connor Wilford gets the batter looking for the strikeout as they would retire 12 straight BYU players to that point. In the 9th inning, junior Andrew Bond in to close it out, and he does just that with the strikeout as Washington State combines for 12 on the day. They get the 6-1 win, their 4th in a row.
Very impressive with our guys at the end. Feel, in 35 and windy, and I thought our feel, our preparation, I thought the guys were just locked in, particularly on the mound. I mean, that game was entirely about our pitching. It was really good.
And the Cougs will be back at it on Thursday as they travel down to the desert for a 3-game series against Arizona State. And now we are just a few days away from the Spokane Indians getting their 2023 season underway. And ever since spring training wrapped up a couple of weeks ago, we were wondering which Colorado Rockies players from that organization would be making their way down to Spokane. Well, today the team released their 30-man roster, and it does include one name very familiar with the area. That's pitcher Gabriel Hughes, who was taken 10th overall in the 2022 draft out of Gonzaga. Hughes had only a single appearance in spring training last month, allowing just 1 hit against the Dodgers while striking out 4 across 3 innings. Now joining him on the mound is going to be Jaden Hill. He's a 2021 second-round draft pick out of LSU. And there's also former Whitworth Pirate Joel Condrey. He returns home and he'll be in the bullpen. Now this roster does feature 5 of Colorado's top 10 prospects while returning 10 players from last season. And the Indians will open up their season this year as they'll travel north of the border to take on the Canadians. The home opener for Spokane is a week from tomorrow, so hopefully it's going to be a bit warmer temperatures. 4 News Now, we'll be right back.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app. At 4 News Now, we believe you should expect more from local news. Our team is committed to a community conversation and bringing you information you need when and where you need it. Numerica believes in and supports that mission.
If your checking account isn't earning you money, it's time to switch to bonus checking from Numerica. The account that earns an incredible 2% annual percentage yield. That could earn you up to $500 every year or more.
Spokane and North Idaho's country leader.
It goes like one margarita.
Bluebird in my heart.
Baby, you're playing hard to forget.
The big 99.9 Coyote Country.
The stories you need to know.
They just ripped the ATM out of the wall.
Up in a Black Hawk helicopter.
Were you trying to rip me off?
Inside Edition.
These are the stories that impact your life.
Weeknights at 7, only on 4 News Now.
I had a lot of bad days with gout, but that one took the wedding cake. Even with medicine, my uric acid was still too high to stop painful gout buildup. Then a gout specialist told me about Cristexa.
Cristexa is a prescription medicine for adults with gout whose symptoms are not controlled by other gout medicines.
I learned Cristexa quickly starts working to break down gout buildup.
Cristexa is an infused medicine. Serious life-threatening allergic reactions can occur while taking Cristexa. Tell your doctor right away if you have symptoms such as shortness of breath, trouble breathing, dizziness, itching, or swelling of the throat or tongue. Cristexa is not recommended if you have high levels of uric acid without a history of gout. Do not take Cristexa if you have a rare disorder called G6PD deficiency or favism. Before receiving Cristexa, tell your doctor if you have a history of heart problems and all the medicines you take. Cristexa may cause gout flare-ups, allergic reactions, nausea, bruising, sore throat, constipation, chest pain, and vomiting.
I received Cristexa for about 6 months. Now I'm in control, not gout.
Find a doctor who specializes in gout at goutdocnow.com.
See breaking news in your area or have a story idea? Contact 4 News Now.
All right, we've got a pretty nice warm-up ahead of us. Once we get to Friday and Saturday, we're into the 50s, but we do have some widespread rain that is coming at that point. And then once we move into the weekend, Easter Sunday, we're into the 60s and potentially up to 68 degrees by this time next week. So we've just got a few more days to get through, and then it will really feel like spring.
Yeah, that's a 20-degree jump from Tuesday to Monday.
And even in the 50s, like the high 50s, or just the 50s at all, over the weekend, that'll work for egg hunting because the chocolate candies won't melt. It'll be good. Everybody will be happy.
We could have other problems.
We won't worry about that until we get closer.
One step at a time, one little hop at a time.
Speaking of kids and their candies, 5-year-old Lila sneakily snagged more than $3,000 worth of items from Amazon while using her mom's phone. So this is what she bought. 10 toy motorcycles, a Jeep, and naturally 10 pairs of cowgirl boots.
Of course.
Wow.
So her mom says all of these things are going to be returned, but she says that if she behaves from here on out, she might get a bicycle.
Wow.
She's a good tree climber, too.
10 motorcycles. Get all the kids on the block.
It's a gang.
That's a gang.